Hello again, everybody. Zack Attack is here, my WWE Raw review for tonight. On this Monday, January the 11th, 2016, taking place from the weirdest name for venue I know, the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans, Louisiana. Heading down the road to the Rumble, now that the title's on the line, makes it a lot more interesting. If this will be opposing the College Football Championship game after a decent Raw last week and also great for SmackDown USA on Thursday, not bad of a Raw tonight. Here's an okay action. This is my top title. We had the return of the mayor of Suplex City. We all knew he was going to return tonight, but when? Well, we had a little inkling. Plus, you'll see by the subtitle, we have a new United States champion crowned tonight. So, very intriguing Raw. Let's get down to how he started with the McMahons. Stephanie and Vince coming down to the ring with the superstars running the Titantron. We had New Day out there. I love New Day. New Day is like my favorite thing about Raw. Like when they first started, they were nothing. They had no identity, but now they found identity as comedic, violent heels. And they were dancing McMahon's music, even when like McMahon and Stephanie had the little thing about like, we're going to have the Royal Rumble match for the title, and we want anybody but Reigns to win. You know, talking about all the people out there, like who they think could win, like Owens, and they shout out New Day, and like Booty, not Woody Tooty Booty like Jericho did. And he had like all the like title breaches up there in the Titantron stage. And Wyatt's came out during that segment. Stardust, or should I say Ziggy Stardust, because he had Cody Rhodes, aka Stardust, wearing the Ziggy Stardust face paint in honor, in memory of the Thin White Duke, and of course, the real Ziggy Stardust, David Bowie, who of course passed away this morning. The age of 69, cancer. So, McMahon to talk about who they want to win the Rumble. Anybody but woman, then cue woman's music. He came down to McMahon, what if I win? And Vince is like, you know what, woman? We're going to put you through the ringer tonight in a 1 versus all match for a main event. Seeing what it ended up being should have been just as simple, just a glorified gauntlet match. That's basically what it was. They were aiming it to be. I know we named it 1 versus all because that's woman's phrase, but it was nothing more than almost a glorified gauntlet. As they were trying to make it, as we saw by the match itself tonight. So there you go. On to our first matchup involving a man who was trying to make a statement during that match. And of course, statement during this opening matchup. Sheamus taking on Dean Ambrose. Non-title. Because Ambrose came down and got attacked by Sheamus to end the segment between Reigns and McMahon, which signaled this match starting. A little better than a steel cage match they had a couple weeks ago. Not as good as the Owens-Ambrose match on SmackDown, which was awesome, by the way. It almost had an almost identical ending of the Ambrose and Owens match. Not bad of a match. Like I said, a little bit better than a steel cage match. Barely. Okay, action with Sheamus. There's a big action. Even at one point, trying to do the 12 beats to the boundary. But I like when Ambrose reversed it, did it on Sheamus himself. So then after the 10 beats to the boundary, they brought it outside, including Ambrose being tossed against the announce table. But they got back in the ring with Sheamus trying to go for a pro kick, but then Ambrose would have it. He missed his clothesline. He was going for the lunatic French clothesline, but Sheamus saw that coming. Goes in there, even going for white noise. Then terrific tornado DDT from Ambrose. Some decent little spots in this matchup. But then after the rebound clothesline, did nail it. He did nail the rebound clothesline. They brought it to the outside. Brought against the steel steps. One big spot came when Ambrose nailed Sheamus against the wing post. And boy, did Sheamus' head cut open big time. You saw the blood dripping. Ended up being a double countout. Like I said, the ending of the Owens and Ambrose match on SmackDown double countout. So then the brawl continued. With Sheamus being set up for a move, it looked like Sheamus was going to be put through a table. Kind of like what Ambrose did to Owens last week on Raw. Because Ambrose was seeing Sheamus and Owens and Sheamus. But speaking of the devil, here comes Owens himself to come sneaking up from behind and attacking Ambrose. Beating him up. And looking like the vicious Owens, like I said, for the last couple weeks. I've been applauding WWE Creative for finally showing Owens off as the aggressive heel that we all knew and loved in NXT. He lost that edge. Creative kind of let him be a generic heel. Didn't really show off his muscle. Literally didn't let Owens show off his aggressiveness in the last couple months until the last couple weeks after he lost his IC Championship. He brought off the aggressiveness in KL. So there you go. The beatdown of the matchup, sending Ambrose to the back. But Ambrose still wanted a piece of Owens. We're probably going to see them eventually at the Rumble. I say a new DQ match for them makes a whole lot of sense in Orlando for the Royal Rumble in 2 weeks. To probably be the match itself, since the WWE title's defended in the Rumble match for the first time. Of course, the second time the title in any way is on the line. Of course, the first time title was on the line in the Rumble match was in '92, but the title was vacated back then. So it's the second time the title's been put up for grabs, but the first time it's actually being defended. Need some clarification there. So after that, on-rim Ziggy Stardust. Stardust taking a Titus O'Neil. We had this match last week. Kind of the same result. With Titus O'Neil winning. But then Stardust beat up Titus. Now, the Ambrose Owens feud, we like that feud to continue because they put effort. Today's storylines, they don't put a lot of effort in these storylines to make us interested in it. They just toss these two guys together with no effort, no build-up effort. It makes us want to say, we want these guys to end this feud. We're sick of it. Because there's no effort being put in this feud to make us interested in wanting to see these guys face off against each other. That's what's happening with Titus and Stardust. Although Stardust beat down after the match, kind of make us want to be interested in seeing these guys wrestle more. But the crowd was dead during that match. And New Orleans crowd was okay tonight. The Texas crowd was a little bit better last week. They were dead. You could see they were dead during the when they were chanting for Woman. I don't know when Stephanie made fun of them saying, you can't even get your chant right. You can't even chant in unison. A little slap at the fans there. But it got better as the night went on, especially during the U.S. title match. So as we saw, an okay matchup between Titus and Stardust was, like I said, a little bit dead. Same ending, Stardust tried to go with big moves. Of course, try to pay homage to David Boy with his Ziggy Stardust makeup, face paint. But like I said, classic and Titus victory for Titus O'Neil. Okay, match. Not much effort. Now on to the highlight. We had the return of that with Chris Jericho coming back. I liked this segment last week against New Day. Could have done more with it, but I liked it. Even though with the Woody Tooty Booty. I'll take Woody Tooty Booty over anything corny that Reigns does. So then Jericho got the highlight reel. Much more. I think this is a better executed segment than the return segment was last week. Had some tributes to Lemmy saying, don't want to overkill this. And they even said, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Little suffragette city. Weapons. And, New Day came out, started doing a promo. They were doing some great promo work. Making fun of Jericho. Shame! Saying that we should be the tag team of the year. They should have been. And like Owens using that negative of losing the breakout star of the year, which he also should have won, turning it into a positive, bring up the aggressiveness. New Day should use that negative of losing the tag team slamming to a positive. They all the epitome of the power of positivity. Because New Day rocks. I just got a New Day shirt. They have a sale right now. $16 shirts. I've been waiting for a good sale. So, now I'm going to Wall in Detroit. Wall's going to be in Detroit, so I'm going to go to the Wall. Now I'm going to bring a New Day Rock City sign because we're in Detroit, Rock City. So there it is. The New Day was talking about losing the tag team slamming. Here come the real slamming winners. The two-time slamming winners for tag team of the year. The Usos wanted to get their hands on the New Day. And Jericho's like, hey, we can't have a 6-man tag because I don't have no wrestling gear. But we can make this a tag team affair with me in the corner of the Usos and Xavier in the corner of Biggie and Kofi. So that's what we had. A non-title match. New Days against the Usos. Funny little tag team affair. Usos coming with the big flying moves. So Jimmy got isolated in the corner by both Biggie and Kofi. With a little interference help from Xavier. Jericho tried to sign him out at one point. Chase him out, but you're going to get him out. Big E came up with some big moves, tackling the Usos in the turnbuckle, and of course the big splash on the wing apron, like when he does that. And really taking a really isolating Jimmy, including at one point, Jamie almost got a tag in, but Kofi knocked out Jay before the opportunity tag would be brought in. But then Jay did get the tag in eventually. Jimmy did find an opportunity, and bang. Jay came in like a house of fire with some big kicks, including one big super kick. Trying to go for the super fly splash. But then, why is he about to do a super fly splash for kneeling Big E with a super kick? Xavier came in trying to distract, using a trombone and all. But then Jericho forwarded it and smashed Big E's friend Xavier's beloved trombone. And Xavier doing that, like, his emotion was great, spot on. You know, the comedic heels, and that's like his beloved thing is a trombone. But unfortunately, distracted the New Day as Kofi got rolled up. 1, 2, 3 victory. The Usos pinned the tag team champions with a little help from Jericho in a fun little tag team affair. So I think Usos will get a proper title match against the New Day either on Raw next week or makes more sense in the Rumble. New Day's in the Rumble match itself, but we've seen people compete twice on the Rumble pay-per-view, you know, have their own match and then compete in the Rumble match. Well, most guys. We all know the Daniel Bryan story. You know, he competed in a match and people thought he was going to wrestle again, and Batista happened. Bootista happened. So there you go. Now, after that, of course, I mentioned earlier in my Attack Sports, the first inductee of the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2016, Sting, announced today on the internet and all that. Announced doing well properly. Now, when it comes to his credits at WCW, they are more recognizable than his WWE credits, only 1 and 2 record. They can make fun of that. But I think we all knew at some point when Sting got in the company in 2014, we all knew he was going to go into the WWE Hall of Fame at some point. And this year's the year. You know, it's in Texas. Interesting place. Could have been judge it. But hey, you know, go down as accomplishments. You know, multi-time world champion, television champion, U.S. champion, tag team champion, WCW. You know, he was the franchise. Forgot to mention that when I meant many names. I've said the icon, the vigilante. Some people like to call him that. The man called Sting. You know. So after that, we had a scheduled match. An 8-man tag between all 4 members of the Wyatt family and the Social Outcasts, the new tag team that are more over than the League of Nations. I like their shirts with the hashtag Social Outcasts and everyone had their names on it. Of course, that Keith Slater, Bo Dallas, Curtis Axel, and Adam Rose. I mentioned who should have been in that group last week, Ryder and Sandow. They would have been perfect fits. Either one of them, or would have loved to have seen them both in that clique. They were on the mic, talking about going viral, bye. But as the match was going on, it wasn't really a match, it was more like a segment. As Strowman was pummeling all the members of the Social Outcasts, they came in one at a time, just got pummeled by Strowman, who started the match. Feed me more. Here comes Ryback, wanting revenge on the Wyatts for interrupting his match last week against the Big Show, when he attacked both men in the ring. So Ryback, with the help from the Social Outcasts, they all ran a muck and took out the Wyatt family. It could lead to a match probably on Raw next week and some physical confrontation between all 9 of these men in the woman match itself in 2 weeks. So now on to our next scenario. With John Cena out with an injury. Out for a while, maybe missing Mania. We need someone to replace him because we were heading towards a possible match between him and Del Rio at the Rumble. After the DQ finish during their match on Raw, the last Raw of last year. So who replaced Cena in that scenario? Kalisto, man, want to have the Lucha Dragons, who's starting to get over. I'm glad he's finally getting cheered by the fans. After being in the main roster for about 8 months, he's finally getting over with some great moments. Standout moment in the World Title Tournament. He beat Ryback in an upset. And of course, that Selena Del Sol on the top of the ladder at TLC, the guy was slamming. And then, of course, the coup pinning Del Rio on the first SmackDown in an untitled match. So, okay, U.S. title match in the Rumble, right? How about that title match tonight? Kalisto and Del Rio for the U.S. title tonight. And it was a fun match between both, the Mexican wrestlers. There were some interesting spots, including one spot when Sin Cara's partner got tossed against the barricade, landed hard, like Sin Cara did when Sin Cara got injured, of course, a few weeks ago. I'm glad that they're not leaving Kalisto on the shelf, leaving him to wait for his partner to get healthy. That they're using him, especially in this way, for a major title. A singles one, should I say. So he landed hard against him. I think he kind of mislanded, he was up against barricade. He landed, not against barricade itself, landed against the small patch of concrete between the bottom of the barricade. Landed hard. But I'm glad he didn't get seriously injured. And he almost got, because he got some nasty spots from Del Rio. Some backbreaker, some big DDTs. And an inverted suplex up the top from Del Rio. That was a cool spot. I thought he was going to throw to Selena Del Sol, do his own move. Do Kalisto's own move, but he did an inverted suplex up the top. That was cool. And they were looking for the kill. Despite Del Rio going in for the kill, going for big kicks, even going for the knee stop at one point. Having Kalisto tied up, and then Kalisto ducked it. Both guys trying to go for the finishes. Not just a stump, but of course, cross-arm breaker for Del Rio. And the Selena Del Sol at one point was trying to be executed by Kalisto, but Del Rio countered it. So then after a backbreaker, Del Rio going for a big kick. Kalisto got a kick himself. But then after more big moves, including the head scissor plant, Del Rio's going for a big move. Going for a suplex. Reverse into a roll-up from Kalisto. 1, 2, 3. I love Kalisto. I've been a fan of him since Lucha Dragons won NXT. Everyone knows I'm a big NXT guy. I'm going to an NXT show in January on about 19 days at Royal Oak Music Theater, and it's in Detroit. And I thought Del Rio was going to retain. To probably have a towards a rematch, maybe a screwy ending. To suffice a rematch in Rumble, but thankfully we didn't have no screwy ending. We had a clean ending. And Kalisto won. I'm so happy for him. You know what I mean? And the fans popped. When he won, he got a genuine pop. Like I said, I'm so happy the fans are finally getting behind Kalisto. Finally getting behind the Lucha Dragons. And doing the Lucha thing, because I love that. And Kalisto, a lot of people see him as the next big Rey Mysterio guy, the next Latin American superhero, guy with a mask on to kind of use as a merchandising ploy with the mask. Because Rey Mysterio was a big superhero wall model for the Latin American community, for the Latino community. And now Kalisto is that next guy. We thought Sin Cara was going to be the next superhero Latin American kids. But now the Latinos can look up to Kalisto, and he won the U.S. Championship. Del Rio got a rematch clause invoked it for SmackDown Thursday, but I don't think he's going to win it. I think Kalisto will retain. Come on, man. Kalisto cannot have the title for only 3 days. Or, in real sense, a day, because SmackDown tapes on Tuesdays. So, there you go. So, after a great win for Kalisto, we had, of course, Charlotte coming out for a scheduled match against Brie Bella. As she was coming down the ramp with, of course, her dad in tow, Becky Lynch was upset after losing to Charlotte in a fun match last week on SmackDown when Charlotte did tap to the disarm at one point, but Ric Flair distracted the referee, causing Charlotte to capitalize and getting a cheap win. She says she's the victim in an interview. Well, the victim got punished as Becky Lynch came out before the match and just beat down on Charlotte. And speaking of someone, I'm finally happy they're getting behind. Becky got chanted big time. I love when she came down and beat up Charlotte. People chanting Becky. So happy they're finally getting behind Becky. And they're finally giving Becky something proper to do. You know, when she came in with the PCB and the NXT so-called Divas Revolution, kind of fizzling out, although the match on SmackDown. Great step forward, that SmackDown match. Great step forward. The crowd wasn't dead. They were really into it. Shannon doing that match. The finally gave Becky something. She was like kind of lost in the shuffle. You know, they were pushing Paige, pushing Charlotte, and of course Sasha. I'm gonna bring a sign to my wall in Detroit. Sasha Charlotte Mania, make it happen. Because I keep saying it on these reviews. And if no one wants to watch my reviews, WWE, and watch it, and listen to what I have to say, I'm going to bring a sign. And do it the hard way. Bring a sign to one of their shows. To make my point clear, that we want Sasha and Charlotte at Mania. That's where they should face. I've been saying they need a feud for a long time. They need a feud at Mania. Hopefully if Sasha, who's reportedly injured, she says she's not. Hopefully injury, if she is injured, isn't that serious. Not like, more like 3 weeks off, not 6 months off like Cena. So that's, Becky was interviewed. I thought she had a great interview. And she wants to make Charlotte tap again. It looks like we're looking towards a Charlotte-Sasha feud is going to wait. Because Charlotte-Becky feud needs to continue. And I'm looking forward to a great match in the Rumble because they had a great match on SmackDown. And I expect a great match in the Rumble. You know, you need a great women's pay-per-view match. You know, we haven't seen a terrific women's pay-per-view match main roster yet. Survivor Series was good. Crowd was dead, sad, but I liked the Paige Charlotte match. It was aggressive and violent and good. And I hope they have a great match between Charlotte and Becky at the Rumble. So now, speaking of the Rumble, little mini preview, sort of, with this gauntlet, I mean the 1 vs. All match, as Roman Reigns would take on, well, the first guy, Kevin Owens. I'm glad they chose Owens, because I've been an Owens guy, and I just mentioned him about being more aggressive in the last couple of weeks because he lost the IC Championship, finally showing the aggressive heel that we all know and love from NXT, showing it on the main roster at long last. So we had all the heels out there watching Owens, trying to be the next guy to be in there. We had New Day in there, Lee, Stone's enemies from NXT days, the Ascension, the team that Kalisto and Sin Cara beat for the NXT tag titles about a year or so ago. When I first got into NXT. Because I started watching the specials, but then I started watching their 1-hour shows full time when they moved to Wednesdays because TNA was opposing it when TNA didn't suck. Now they suck. And they moved to a channel I don't even have. So let's move on with this main event. Owens looked good in this match. You know, here is the former NXT champion and former Intercontinental champion going up against the reigning WWE champion. Not entirely, but still looked awesome. Cannonball splash on the outside, nice spot there. It is really beating the crap out of Reigns, especially if Reigns would have survived. He would have to face everybody one-on-one, but I was like, it's almost 11, you know what I mean? He's not going to wrestle everybody in a match. You know what I mean? It's kind of like convoluted here, but hey, interesting matchup. But I knew it was going to lead up to a guest appearance. That's what this match kind of served the purpose for. So I had an inkling about someone coming out during this match, which I was like. So then as Owens was just putting on a clinic on Mr. Reigns, Reigns started coming with some House of Fire moves, some clotheslines, some boots. But as he was coming back, some big boots and coming for some big moves, trying to set up a Superman punch at one point after the pummeling assault from Owens. The Ascension started getting up on the top of the apron. Superman punches for them. And then, boom, all the heels started coming in. Superman punch everybody. Even Tyler Breeze got Superman punch. But then Vince is like, everybody else, sick 'em. And then, boom. The beatdown was on. New Day, the Real, Sheamus were beating down on Reigns. And the referee didn't stop it. It was probably thrown out after. Like, he didn't call it when Breeze and the Ascension got involved. But he still didn't call it after the beatdown. He probably just threw it out. No contest, basically, after the beatdown. Sheamus on the pro kick. And the fans chanting, "We want Brock." Because, like I said, I had an inkling that Lesnar was going to come out. Because I was like, we didn't see Lesnar come out. We saw him backstage in a segment with Heyman. Because there was like a little blip that Heyman said he didn't want Lesnar in a woman match. He wanted Lesnar to be the main event of Mania again, to take on the winner of the Rumble match, since the winner of the Rumble match would be the champion. Since, as we all know, the title's on the line. So McMahon's like, Lesnar's gonna fight in the Rumble match. So after that, I was like, Lesnar's gonna come out doing his main event match and be a sign that he is gonna be in the Rumble match. Hell or high water, he's gonna be in it. And like I predicted, cue the music, cue out the beast incarnate, cue out the mayor of Suplex City, and that's exactly what he did. He took everybody to Suplex City. Suplex, everybody. New Day was like, I'm looking forward to seeing Lesnar come out to see all the faces of the heels. New Day didn't look puzzled. They were like, he's on the outside. Well, the old happiness was then turned to frowns when they got double clothesline. They beat Big E's partners, Kofi and Xavier. Then Big E got suplex, and then everyone started getting suplex. Suplex City. And then Reigns, who was still down from the beatdown, Lesnar lifted him back up. We're like, what's he going to do here? Is he going to attack Reigns? It's every man for himself in a Rumble, and it proved it. Lesnar, who of course, as we all know, faced Roman Reigns at Mania for the title last year when Lesnar was champion. F5'd Reigns, leaving him out, delivering a big message that he's gunning for Reigns, he's gunning for the title again. So that means Rumble time for Lesnar, one of the favorites for sure. Besides Triple H's surprise return for what we're hearing. The levels with Triple H coming back at the Rumble, screwing over Reigns. And I would not be surprised if I've said this last week. I would not be surprised. They didn't say if Reigns is number one or not, if he's a number one entrant. But I'd be surprised if they want to screw him over. He'll be number one. Oh, but guaranteed he'll lose the title if he's number one entrant in the match. So there you go. Lesnar's in, delivering a big message to everybody. Not just Reigns, but everybody who's in the Rumble. That everyone who's in the Rumble has bought themselves a one-way ticket to Suplex City. So there you go. Interesting one tonight. Nothing is a very entertaining one. Not as good as the last couple of weeks. Like last week was really good, but we had some progression. Owens looked good again tonight. Beating up Ambrose. Kalisto winning U.S. Championship was a highlight. Also, he's finally getting over with the fans. Also happy for Becky Lynch getting over with the fans. Probably getting a Charlotte Becky match in the Rumble. Probably Usos and New Day at the Rumble. After seeing Usos defeat New Day in a non-title match tonight. I thought we were going to see Kalisto and Del Rio at the Rumble, but that may still happen. The SmackDown match is a screwy ending. Of course, Ambrose and Owens in the Rumble. Needs to be a no DQ match for the IC title. That's the only way to go. So, there you go. So, that's it for my WWE Raw review. Thank you very much for watching it. Like I said earlier, I am going to the Raw on February 22nd. They're in Detroit for Raw. The Raw after Fastlane, because Fastlane's in Cleveland. And I just got tickets to that. It went on sale last week, so I'm going to that. My first Raw in 4 years, and I will make a proper review, a live review of it. Review from being there live. So, there you go. Cannot wait for that. In NXT on the 30th at Royal Oak. With that in mind, minutes apt by the review from Zach. See ya! Yeah!